Hi, this is Peter Gwynn. I'm a loan officer with Primary Residential Mortgage Incorporated. If you're receiving this message, chances are that you and I have done at least a deal or two together in the past. I'm reaching out to my agent partners today to let you know about two things. Number one is my move to primary, and number two, to talk about the new disclosures that are going to be required by all lenders starting next week, and to tell you a little bit about how I anticipate that impacting our process. So first, the move. A group of us have moved from the other place to Primary Mortgage. We've set up a new branch office in Northeast at the Brooklyn Metro Station. We're on 12th Street. And the reason we did that was because they have lower rates. We were able to track that over a number of months, and that's a competitive advantage that we want for ourselves and to be able to offer to our clients. So that kind of speaks for itself. We did move over with a group of people, assistants, processors, and loan officers. We're also going to bring on an underwriter who we've all worked with before, so who's going to be working only on our files. And so we've got a group of people who've all been working together for quite a while, a lot of experience. We all like each other. And we've got a pretty tight process, and we're going to have a tight process going forward, which is going to be even more important starting next week. So on to these disclosures. So there's two new disclosures. There's the loan estimate and the closing disclosure. The loan estimate is going to replace the GFE and the TIL in the initial disclosures. So that describes all of the costs that we anticipate the borrower incurring associated with this loan. The second disclosure, the closing disclosure, will have the same information. It replaces the HUD-1 that we use at closing. What's different is not so much the information that's contained in these documents, but they now will look the same, so that the borrower can see exactly what I said is going to happen in the beginning and compare it to what has actually happened now that we're at closing. And the ideal is that these are going to be exactly the same or very, very close to being the same. And if they're not, there are penalties for us. There could be delays. And so that's what we're going to try to avoid. How that's going to impact the process is in two ways. So the first way is relatively minor. All we want to do is we want to make sure that the loan estimate has the absolute best figures that we can get. So we may take a little bit of time, a day or two, maybe three, in getting the initial disclosures out. So we'll want to contact the title company right away, make sure we clearly understand all of their fees. We want to get a reliable mortgage insurance number if we need that. We also want to make sure we understand what the down payment is going to be, talk to the borrower, get an exact number for the down payment so we don't have to adjust the loan amount later. And for instance, if I say an appraisal is going to be $300 and I want to add a rush fee to it the next day, I can't do that. So we just need to be a little bit more clear amongst ourselves and with the borrower up front, get those disclosures out and make them exact as possible. So nothing has to be done really faster, it just has to be done a little bit sooner. So I think that's a pretty minor adjustment. Next, the closing disclosure. That's going to have the same information. That replaces the HUD-1. It's going to look a lot like the loan estimate, so we can do the comparison from before to after. The catch with the loan estimate is that it has to be issued 3 days before we can close. So in effect, a 30-day closing is now a 27-day closing. But not only that, it has to be acknowledged as received by the borrower. So if I put that into an e-disclosure and they don't pick it up for 2 days, then we're at 5 days. And if there's a Sunday in there, then it's 6, and so we've lost a week just by this one little thing. So a 30-day closing, it's a 27-day closing, maybe it's a 24-day closing. And what we have to do is everybody, me, assistant, processor, underwriter, closer, agents, title company, everybody has to just bake this into their process very, very deliberately. So I intend to do that. My team is doing that, and we're going to manage it and make it work and get them done. I think in the end that this is going to be a better process. And certainly these documents are better for my borrowers, so that makes me happy, because in the beginning, when I first heard about this, I have to say, I realize now I went through something like the 7 stages of grief. So first was denial. I just ignored it for as long as I possibly could. Then blinding rage, then bargaining, and so forth. And once we started doing the training, we did an all-day long training. I took 22, I think, online classes and passed all the tests, worked through some sample files, and through that process, which I like to think of as therapy, I've now reached the final stage of grieving, which is hope and acceptance. I really believe that this is going to be better for borrowers, and that's kind of the bottom line. Because there's nothing, I get pretty involved. I like to go to all my closings if I can, and I have to say there's nothing sadder than sitting at a closing table and watching a first-time buyer sit there and pretend that they understand a HUD-1. Because a HUD-1 is a horrible document, and there's no reason something so important should be so hard to read. I hate reading them. You probably hate reading them. We just have gotten used to it. So I think this change, once we get through the initial adjustment period, I think it's really actually going to be a good one. So I'm looking forward to getting going on it. We are ready to go, so just bring it on. Today is October 1st. I want to wish you all a very happy and prosperous fourth quarter of 2015. Looking forward from there to 2016. Please let me know if there's any way I can help you and your borrowers. I hope to hear from you soon, and thank you very much.